Good morning, students. In today we are going to study in our third lesson effects of British rule. Effects of British rule. So, dear students, in this lesson we want to study about the effects of the British rule. First, establishment of East India Company. Now, we have seen that due to geographical discoveries, the European powers reached the Indian coast. All the Europeans, including Portuguese, Dutch, French, and British, entered the race for capturing the Indian market. When the British came to India for trade purpose, the Portuguese had already settled here and they gave a better resistance. Later, friendly relations developed between them, but to establish the domination over India, the British had to face opposition from French, Dutch, and local rulers. Now, British and Marathas. Mumbai was the main center of British in western India. They were trying to acquire the nearby territories, but the Maratha had a strong hold over it. After the death of Peshwa Madhavrao, his uncle Raghunath Rao approached for help for the British due to his greed for Peshwaship. This led to the entrance of the British in Maratha politics. During 1774 to 1880, three wars were fought between the Marathas and the British. During the first war, the Marathas entirely faced the British and hence proved superior. In 1782, with the Treaty of Salbai, the first Anglo-Maratha War came to an end. Now, subsidiary alliances. In 1798, Lord Wellesley arrived in India as a Governor General. His objective was to establish the British domination all over India. For this, he signed the subsidiary alliances with many Indian rulers. According to these alliances, the Indian rulers were assured of British military help. There were some terms laid on them. The Indian rulers have and maintain British army in their court and have to pay cash or share of their territory to the company for it maintenance. The rulers would not have any alliances with any other power or declare war against any power without the intervention of the British. The ruler would accept the British resistance in his state. Some Indian rulers accepted the system and lost their freedom. In 1802, Bajirao II signed the subsidiary alliance treaty with the British. This alliance is well known as the Treaty of Vasai. But this treaty was not acceptable to some Maratha Sardars. This led to the Second Anglo-Maratha War. After the victory of the British, there was increased interference of British into the Maratha state. This became intolerable and Bajirao II waged a war against the British. He was defeated in the battle and in 1880 he surrendered to the British. In the meantime, the capital of Mughals was under the control of Daulat Rao Shinde. By defeating the troop of Shinde, General Lake captured the Mughal emperor and gained victory over Hindustan. Now next, Chhatrapati Pratap Singh. Although the Peshwaship came to an end, Chhatrapati Pratap Singh of Satara was still ruling. British signed a treaty with Chhatrapati Pratap Singh and appointed Grant Duff as an officer to assist him in the state affairs, but later the Chhatrapati was thrown and exiled the Kashi. He died there in 1847. Ranga Bapuji Gupta A lawyer officer of the Chhatrapati fought the legal battle and went up to England, but his efforts were unsuccessful. Later, Lord Dalhousie rejected the adoption policy and in 1848 annexed the state of Satara. Now, dual government. What is meant by dual government? Robert Clive in 1765 introduced the dual government system in Bengal. The company undertook the work of revenue collection, whereas the Nawab of Bengal had maintained law and order. This was known as a dual government system. The ill effect of dual government system could be seen after a certain time period. Money in the form of taxes went into the pockets of the company officers. The monopoly of trade in India was given to East India Company, and hence many trading companies in England even them. The working system to the company in India received criticism in England, and British Parliament introduced some important laws to keep control over the company. Now, parliamentary law. According to the Regulating Act of 1773, the Bengal governor came to be named as the Governor General. According to this act, Lord Warren Hastings became the Governor General of India. He got the right to control the policies of Mumbai and Madras province. A committee of 4 members was set up to assist him. In 1784, Indian Act was passed. The Act provided for appointment of the Permanent Board of Control for better regulation and management of affairs of the East India Company in India. In 1833 and 1853, new laws were passed by the Parliament to make certain changes in the working of the company. In this way, there evolved an indirect control of the British government on the administration of East India Company. With the emergency of British rule, a new administrative system got developed in India. Civil services, military, policy, force and judicial system became the main pillar of British administration in India. Among them, civil services. To strengthen the British rule in India, there was a need of bureaucrats. Lord Cornwallis introduced the bureaucracy. Civil services became an important part of British government. He restricted the private trade carried out by the company officer and for this purpose increased their salary. For the convenience of administration, he divided the British occupied territories into districts. The district collector was the chief of district administration. He was responsible for a collecting of revenue, giving justice, maintaining law and order. The officers were appointed through competitive examination known as Indian Civil Services, it means ICS. Military and police force. The duty of military was to safeguard the British occupied region in India, acquire new territories and break down any revolt against the British in India. To maintain law and order in the country was the duty of the police force. Now, judicial system. The British established a new judicial system in India. On the basis of judicial system in England, every district had a civil and criminal court to solve the local cases. For reconsideration of their judgment, a high court was established. Now, equality before law. In early times, law in India differed from place to place. There was differences in judgment on the basis of casteism. Under the leadership of Lord Macaulay, a committee was set up to create the code of law. The Indian Penal Code was enforced all over British India with British principle of equality before law. But there was some defeat in it. There were separate codes and different laws for the Europeans. New laws were difficult to be understood by common people. Legal cases became an expensive affair for the community, and the cases remained pending for years together. Now, economic policies of the British. Since ancient time, there were invasions in India. Many invaders settled in India and were absorbed in the Indian culture. Even though they ruled here, they never made any changes in the basic Indian economic system. The Britishers were an exception. England was a modern nation due to Industrial Revolution. Capitalist economy prevailed, hence they included an economic system in India, which were conducive to economic system in England. Due to this Britishers gained economic benefit, but India started facing economic exploitation. So remaining part we'll see in next video.